Alright, how do we create a cool pattern, a repeating design like this, kind of like an Andy Warhol painting? Let's get into that. Alright, I'm going to start with a new document, and I'm just going to set it to 800 by 600. It doesn't matter what the size is, I'm just using kind of a generic setting. And I'm going to make something. I'm going to make it on a new layer, and I'm going to start with my solid black line. So I'm going to make sure that black is selected. I'm going to select the line tool, which is right here, the line curve tool. And I'm going to set my width to 8. I just like it a little thicker. Maybe I'll even set it to 10. Okay, and I'm going to hold down the shift key while I click and drag. And what that does is it gives me a perfectly kind of straight line. It'll lock it into, oh, I'll undo here. It'll lock it into whatever angle. So I think it's like maybe 15 degree. Oh yeah, it is 15 degree angles. There's even an angle thing. If you look at the bottom of the screen, I never even noticed this. In the bottom left-hand corner, it even says what angle it's at. That's pretty cool. That's new to me. You can move an object once you've drawn it with this square with the arrows. And then I'm going to just bend this down a little so I can create a sort of a bowl. And this could be any design. So I'm going to do this really quick. I'm going to hold shift, drag it over. I'm going to open this up so it's sort of like the top of my bowl. And I'm going to hit enter. And then I'm going to draw one more line that I'm going to hold shift straight across here. Okay, and I'm going to drag that down. And there's my bowl shape. And you can design all kinds of different things. I'm just sort of going with like a 3D shape. And now I'm going to fill that with a color. I'm going to pick some color, use the paint bucket tool. Make sure that the plus sign, the little plus sign under the bucket is in the middle somewhere. Click it, and I'm going to hit enter to commit my color. And then I'm going to pick a color for like my soup or whatever, and I'm going to hit enter. And you can get fancier and design that more, but that's outside of the scope of this assignment. So right now it's on its own layer. If it's not on its own layer, this won't work out properly, so you want to make sure to go back and try the steps again if that didn't work. Okay, now I'm going to draw a selection. I like the lasso tool because I can get closer. I'm going to get as close as I can to it without going over it. It doesn't have to be perfect. But I'm going to make sure that the whole shape is inside of the marching ants. And I'm going to hit, actually now I'm going to shrink it with I'm going to use the move selected pixels. I'm going to sort of get it up in the corner. And then by putting your hand over one of these dots on the outside edge, these glowing dots on the outer edge, and I hold the shift key down, I can shrink it so it keeps its proportion but gets smaller. So I'm going to, now it's still selected. I haven't let go. I haven't hit enter. I'm going to hit Control C, and by hitting Control C, then Control V, I just paste it. Now it doesn't look like anything's happened, but if I grab the moving square, or if I get my four-way arrow selection, notice it's not four-way arrows right here, so it doesn't move it. But if it's here, I move my copy, and I have now two suples. Okay, so now I'm going to hit enter. Now I'm going to draw a selection around those two. Control C, Control V. And maybe I'll do that again. Control V, paste again. Control V. And now I've got 8 balls. Now, to make this simple, I can just color these in advance. I'm gonna pick a different color, hit enter, and then maybe another color, and hit enter, and another color, and hit enter, and another color, and hit enter. I'm just gonna pick several different colors. So there we go. So there's like 8 versions of my color. Now I'm going to repeat this design. Now that I've already colored them, Control C, Control V. Now I'm getting the colored pattern repeating, and that's really cool. And then I'm going to highlight that whole thing. Control C, Control V. And I might get rid of this last row. I'm going to hit enter. I might get rid of that last row. I don't want them cut off necessarily, but you can have them cut off. It doesn't really matter. And then I'm going to take this whole thing, Control C, Control V, and I'm going to just drag it down. And I kind of like how that looks right there. Now I can take this whole pattern. I'm going to make it fit to my screen. I'm going to start at the top outside edge. I'm going to make sure they're all inside the square. And then I'm going to click on my blue arrow, which allows me to resize. And I'm going to stretch this out just a little bit so that it sort of fits nicely on the screen. Or you know, I may just want to center it or whatever. I can take the whole thing, sort of get it so that I'm happy with where everything is. Hit enter. And then you might want to change the color of the background. So now I'm going to click on the background layer and I'm going to fill it with a different color. And once you've clicked, until you hit enter and commit it, you can actually drag and look at the different, how it looks. So some colors might look better for this, you know, design. I kind of like that. So I'm going to hit enter. You could get fancy. You could do a gradient background. You can watch some of my other tutorials on how to work with gradients. I'm not going to do that here. Here's how to do a pattern and create like a cool design. I hope this is interesting or something you're interested in. Obviously, if you stuck around this long, I either made you do it or you were interested enough to watch. I hope you enjoy it. If you have other ideas for things you'd like to learn how to do, please feel free to leave a comment and let me know. And of course, if you're a student in my class, you can just raise your hand and ask. Have a great day, Mr. Giles. Peace.